Brad, we're back. This is my favorite part. This is where we get to explore what's really out there and available to us that's over millions of years old. Where do you find the stone? Where is it from?
Various parts of the world, through multiple sources of, whether it's we import some of it on our own, through local distributors. We have some great local distributors here in town. And then I've also pulled from resources around the country. Find a lot of great things in New York, New York City, just outside of the city. Some great importers there of natural stone. So we kind of spread it around, and we try to do a great job of just finding some unique things.
All right, talk to me about quarries. I know there's all kinds of stone. So what do we have here in the United States as far as like a quarry that we would get stone from?
One thing that I never really knew until maybe about 15 years ago was that the Washington Monument, for example, that marble it's from Colorado.
Oh.
It's called Colorado Yule.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's the name of the quarry out there. And interesting fact about that quickly is they had stopped installing the stone for quite a while on the Washington Monument was being built. So if you really pay attention to pictures of it,
oh no,
about halfway up or 2/3 of the way up, the color changes because they had postponed production in Colorado for quite a while, and then they started up again, and then the color changed a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
So you can see the difference in that. But there are several domestic products, granites. That's, I mentioned marble. The North Dakota, South Dakota has some granite, some old kind of. You see a lot of the foundations of a lot of our buildings, whether it's downtown Cleveland or throughout the country, came from Dakota, the Dakotas. Mount Rushmore, obviously, that's all granite up there.
That's all granite?
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure it's granite.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And then there's some quarries in North Carolina, and there's some throughout the country. And then obviously Vermont has some really unique stones. Vermont Verde antique, it's an old kind of classic green serpentine material. It's got its own classification. So there's some domestic availability. Some are very traditional and very like monochromatic, and the green one from Vermont is a little bit unique. But we don't really see that much of it anymore. Green kind of went away. Maybe I think it's trying to make its way back.
Right. Emerald. Yes, we're in 2020 and emerald and purple. Get ready, people.
Here it comes.
That's where we're going. So that is a very good point you brought up just a minute ago, is that like the Washington Monument, if you choose your stone today and you don't buy it today, that when you come back to it, that slab, it could be a totally different look.
Yeah, the next lot that becomes available can definitely change in tone, in the veining composition. There's many things, the characteristics of it can change if you see something you fall in love with. I think we spoke about this at one point. You know, we can purchase the slabs, and we're willing to hold them for you. Not that we really want to make a huge practice of that, but we're willing to do that for, you know, the right situation. And we have plenty of slabs here that are basically in storage here, waiting for the project to be ready a year from now.
All right, so what is the process? When do we come to look for the granite for our countertops or for our bar tops or our exterior application? When do we come to you, and what's the process? What do you do? How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, timing wise, I think it's really important if you're working with someone knowledgeable. Are
you indicating me?
Yeah, I am indicating you.
All right.
sometimes you guys control when what the process is on the selection. For us, because of that availability and the way the lots of the different materials can change, the color, the veining, we hopefully you're coming in at an opportune time so that we're not going to have to sit on the material for a long period of time.
Sure.
And that you're maybe not almost ready, but within a few months of being ready, I think it's highly advisable that you come in.
A few months, okay. So that's a little longer than actually we tell people. We try to let people know within 4 weeks of the actual, when we're ready to pull the product and install the product. But my first phone call to you though is, hey Brad, I've got a client and we're ready for the granite or the hard surface, and we need you out here to do the template. So I have to be ready for you.
100% true. And so many times we have people that think they're ready and they're really not. If we have everything ready, if everything's ready for us when we show up the template, from the time we template to the time we install is about a 2-week process. If we have everything, all the plumbing, we know what the edge detail is, we know what the material is, and we have all of our information, we can turn the job within a 2-week time frame.
Well, let me ask you this. What is me or my client, what does being ready for you mean?
That means all of the cabinets are not only on site, but actually installed, screwed to the walls,
Leveled.
in place, leveled, trimmed, hopefully is not missing.
Right.
We're not gonna say, hey, we're gonna add an end panel, or forget to tell us we're gonna add an end panel and then it affects our overhang. So everything, all the cabinetry really being installed. At least the base cabinets where we know countertops are going. And then depending on the backsplash detail, if we're gonna do a full height or not, then obviously uppers would need to be in place as well. And we use all of our technologies, digital technology. We laser template everything. So we bring a laser, we set it up on a tripod, and we shoot multiple points on your walls, your cabinet faces, and then we apply overhangs that are appropriate for, off the front edge of the cabinetry. We lay out your sink, where the sink's gonna go. We're gonna talk about seam placement, depending on slab size, because one thing we haven't touched on is all of these different materials, slab sizes are literally, they're all over the place. Depends on.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Right. You think you only need one slab of granite or hard surface, when the truth might be that you need 2.5.
Right.
Right. So that's a very good point.
And then another thing is, like, if you have a material that has a lot of movement to it, with veining going like kind of in multiple directions, or maybe it's very linear, how do you want that when you make a turn and it's an L-shaped kitchen or a U-shaped kitchen? Sometimes we can't always get the veining all to line up. Even with our photo technology, we can't always get it to line up.
Sure.
Usually we're talking about that with the customer. But those are things that have to be considered when you pick a material that has a lot more going on in it than just a kind of speckled traditional stone.
So you have said the word lot. So you refer to a bundle, like several pieces of the same slab, as a lot. So if you have to have more than one, it's nice if you have the numerical order of those slabs.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, because of the way it's cut. So at the quarry, they basically take it out of the mountains and out of the earth in big blocks.
I love that.
And then they basically run that block through what we'll call a giant bread slicer. So it's basically multiple saw blades or diamond wire saws, and they actually run it through like a giant bread slicer, establish the thickness, and then they run it through a polishing process to get the face polished or leathered or honed or whatever the finish is. And then from there, so it's consecutive within the block, usually is the way we get our bundles, are usually consecutively cut within the block.
So if we want the veining to line up, if it's important and we're doing an L shape or a U shape, or you have an exterior island that you want it to have that same veinage, you would have to have the sequential slabs. You would have to have them numerically sequential, and you number them so people can tell. But you also allow people to see the different slabs. Maybe they only need one, but they want to pick the best one, or one that works for them.
We allow. We'll move slabs and allow them to see different variations, as the bundle can change,
Right.
the veining can change within the bundle. We'll move slabs around and let people hand select their material.
Okay, so I've set my cabinetry. I've made sure all my fills are in place, my cabinetry.
Right.
I've made sure they're level, and I've made sure that I have thought through my, how far I want my edges to go. And also I've thought through my backsplash and its application. And now—
We're doing good so far.
Right, okay. So we've got the template.
Yep.
Then we come and we do the selection. And that's what we're talking about now.
Hopefully you've selected before we template,
Oh,
so
okay.
we know the size of the slabs, we know what material it is. That's really what we're after. So we have all of our information before we ever show up to template the job.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So slab selection first,
Yep.
then template.
Yep.
Now what's happening?
Then we take all that information. It gets uploaded by our templaters, and they don't spend very much time in the building here. They're all on the road every day. They upload to our system, and then we have some really talented people that take all that information and actually program our machines and tell them what to do. Along with that, because of the digital technology we have, we take those photographs to scale of the actual size of your slab. And then when we make those laser templates, we can take those images and lay them right over top of the slab and show you exactly how your veining is going to go together.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
and
really
then
do.
and then that's part of integrated into our process. We then require an approval so that everybody knows what it's going to look like before we cut it.
Good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you fabricate it.
And we fabricate
You're
it.
making it. You're actually making it.
Yep.
So we selected it. We did the template. Now you're fabricating it.
Yep.
And you're saying it's about a 2-week time between the template
And
and
the
the
install.
fabrication to install.
Correct.
So an install is our last step of that process.
Correct.
What do I need to do when you're coming to install? What do we need to prepare the surface or the space? How do we do that?
Really just try to have, if there's, again, we run into all different types of scenarios. So for example, if we come in and let's say you're not putting new cabinetry in and you're just going to replace your countertop, we will template over the existing countertops.
Okay.
And if that's the case, we will also do the tear out. We can also provide a plumbing service to unhook your plumbing, rehook your plumbing. And basically we ask people to at least, if we're going to tear your tops out, we want to make sure that if anything needs to be protected in the cabinets, you guys,
Yeah.
that the customer protects whatever's inside the cabinet, or remove the cabinets. We'll remove what's inside the cabinetry.
The contents, right.
And really just like sit back and enjoy the show.
So the maintenance, I just want to touch on that really
Sure.
quick. The maintenance, okay, now I've got this amazing, beautiful, like I said, whole new lifestyle. And it is truly how we move energy and incorporate our most imaginative lifestyle. So, but how am I going to maintain that? I sure don't want it to be a pain in my neck. What am I doing? Tell me the truth. I'm serious. Everybody tells you something different.
They do.
They do.
I can tell you I think I've estimated we've done probably, over the course of my being in business, we've done probably somewhere around 30,000 jobs.
Holy cow.
Maybe more, but that's just kind of where my head was at. There's only one stain that could never come out of stone
Okay.
that we found,
Okay.
or at least granite, traditional granites, and that is plumber's putty. And most of the plumbers don't use
Wait,
plumber's putty.
the purple plumbers?
Well, I don't know if it's purple, but it's definitely
purple.
got an oil. It's got an oil. There's an oil in it that we only found out about it. And this job is like 25 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Around the faucet holes, the plumber used plumber's putty,
Oh.
and it literally would just continue to grow and grow, and it just was a stain. It just stained and just kept going. That's really the only thing that we found.
That is so interesting.
yeah.
What about
Now-
wose? What about olive oil?
If
Those are
it's
the
sealed,
big ones.
if it's sealed correctly, then you don't have to worry about it.
So you're telling me we have to seal it.
You have to seal it.
How often?
Well, I mean, again, technology has advanced to the point where there are lifetime warranties on sealers.
Oh, okay.
But for certain products. So a marble, for example, the sealer companies won't warranty a marble kitchen
Okay.
like that. But there is a new product on the market that it's an anti-etch product that's applied after the fact. It's not an inexpensive process,
Okay.
but it will allow you to have some safety and that your marble won't etch if you want to use. And we do it all the time. We do white Carrara and Calcutta Gold and a lot of the white marble families. We've done plenty of it in kitchens, and it's really all about customer expectation.
I know we've said this a few times already, but I want to be very clear about the difference between quartzite and quartz, because even I get confused.
Yeah, so quartz, engineered stone, they're one and the same.
Okay.
When people refer to it as quartz or engineered stone, they're the same. Quartzite is a natural stone that comes from the ground or the earth, the mountains, and it is like the latest buzzword in our industry because the colors of quartzites that they have discovered and started quarrying, they're spectacular. They kind of give you that marble kind of feel, the veining composition and how they look. But I want to caution everyone because some people, even the quarries, are classifying things as a quartzite, but it may really be a hard marble or a hard dolomite. So there are some things that can happen along the way that they can stain, even sealed, and it's one of the largest points of confusion in our industry right now.
Sure.
And also the way it's performing. So we try to do our best to test pieces here prior to us ever fabricating it, so we know, is it truly a quartzite? Will it stain? Will it retain water? What are the things we need to try to do? So that's just something I want to caution everyone on.
It's all about expectations,
Yeah.
really. So the most important part is, remember, don't be afraid. No question is a dumb question. It really isn't. Ask away, because this is something that you're going to have in your life for the entirety of your home. So, it could be a very long time. And it could be beyond frustrating because no matter what, it is a costly investment. But again, it also sets the tone of that amazing feeling of the new aesthetic atmosphere that you're creating. So again, don't be afraid to ask any questions. And especially when it comes to what we think are assumptions in the industry, and they truly are not. And we've also discovered that what we used to think was a reality isn't true anymore. And I love the fact that you're testing. You said to me that you're testing every slab almost because each one is reacting differently. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately, sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And we trust our partners that we buy from, and they trust their quarries that they deal with. And sometimes they get misinformation, or it gets classified as what the quarry's saying it is, and in fact it's not. So that's why we need to do it. We're trying to do a better job so we know what we're giving our customers to make sure that we're selling them exactly what they're expecting.
Absolutely. All right. Well, there is another aspect, so which is very noisy, by the way. So we're going to show you, or Brad's going to show you, the back room where it all happens.
Yeah.
And usually there's really loud music. It's the fabrication area.
Yeah.
And these are huge CNC machines,
Water
laser,
jets.
water
Yep.
jets. Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us just a little bit about it.
Yeah, we have. I'm really proud of what we've been able to put together here. We have two different water jet saws. It's a combination of a diamond blade and a water jet. So when we talk about nesting and bundling pieces and like a jigsaw puzzle on your slab for the way we lay things out to minimize waste, which also saves you money in the end. We have 2 of those saws that they do nothing but cut slabs all day long. We have 3 CNC machines. We have a straight line polisher. We have a face polisher, so we can face polish things. We can fix like scratches and polished
There you go.
materials. And then, you know, just we have a full complement of just every kind of machine that you can imagine for our industry. And
So,
I'm really
sure.
proud of the shop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, actually, Brad. Thank you for sharing all of this information. I'd like to know about what it is that is part of my world. So if I'm about to make, it's not always all about the money, but an investment in my new way of living and my well-being, I just want to know about it. I want to know, why am I using it? What is it? How is it going to enhance my life? So you did a great job.
Oh,
We
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.